Today I'm going to show you how to paint a wine glass using a scruffy brush. I'm using gold and wicker white to start off with for the base of the painting on this glass. And here's just a sample of what it's going to look like. I just painted this one just a few minutes ago. What you might want to do when you're painting these, because I'm trying to do this very quickly to be able to show you an example, is put the white on first and then put the gold on second, but you might want to allow a little bit of drying time, maybe an hour or so after you put the white on, and then add the gold. You can also go back over this with more gold if you wanted it to look more gold once you get done and let it dry. That's what I'm starting off with, showing you how to do today. As always, when you're doing glass painting, make sure you clean your glass before you start painting. You can wash it with soap and water, use denatured alcohol to clean off the glass. Actually, white vinegar works as well. However, you want to just make sure that it is washed off. That will eliminate a lot of the grease, dust, that type of thing that will get into a glass from handling or from it sitting. So I've already done that today. I am using Folk Art enamel paints. That is my favorite brand to use. With this process, I'm using the one-stroke scruffy brushes, and I believe these are a size 12. One thing nice about this, you don't have to be precise. So when you're starting off with this type of a painting technique, you can just leave it as just this painting technique once you're done, or once it dries, go back and add some type of painted design over the top of it. I am just doing a random pattern, trying to leave a little bit of a space from the top down, and the reason for that is just so that when people are drinking from it, they're not actually coming in contact with the paint. Paint is non-toxic, so it's just a matter of just trying to be safe. Better safe than sorry. Never paint on the inside or the front side of a plate or something like that where food is going to come in contact with it, because it is actually not rated as being food safe for your food to be touching it. But you can do reverse painting or make sure you're painting on the outside of the glass and it'll be just fine. In all honesty, the biggest concern with paint is that if there's any kind of chipping in it, that bacteria can get underneath where it's scratched or chipped, and then that actually is what can cause the problem with somebody coming in contact with their food, or drinking from a glass. Their lips are touching the paint. It's not so much the paint itself, it's what can happen if it's compromised at all. And with glass painting, as we know, it can scratch. Now I'm just basically going just lightly tapping on the glass. If you come up with any bubbles, like when I'm doing this, well, of course now that like little bubbles like that, just make sure you tap them out. If you don't, if they don't come down before you bake them, it's possible they can pop, and then you'll have a popped bubble in your painted design. So like I said, I'm just going through, just randomly going around. You can tape off the top if you want to be precise. I particularly, the way I do stuff, I'm not really into measuring too much or being precise with things. I eyeball a lot, which, I don't know, can be good or bad, I guess. Alright. And again, even with where you stop it, because you're going to come up over the top of it with the next color. You're not limited to using the colors I'm using. I just decided to start with these today. Alright, so now, like I said, if I were doing this in a slower fashion, I would be more apt to actually allow this white to dry before going up over it. Now a lot of times I will come down here and start at the top of the stem, but today I'm just using the actual, it's kind of a mark around the glass. I don't know if you can see it or not, a natural mark when the glasses are made, and I'm going to try to stay up around that if at all possible. And remember too, if you go over it, you can just, you know, clean it off. Q-tip, fingers, paper towel, whatever, that would be nice to clean it off with. And mixing the two paints together, it's going to be more of a muted gold. That's why I say if you wait till it dries some, you're not going to get the mixture as much. I particularly with this design, I'm not concerned about that. Like I said, this is a type of painting style that just about anybody can do, as long as you have the control of your hands to hold the brush. And then when you're coming up over the next color, you know, just do a random style pattern. It doesn't have to be precise. We're not going for that look. And it just can be randomly coming up over the next color. So if you want to go back over it once it dries and do the gold again to make it more of a solid gold instead of a mixture with the white, you can do that as well. And there you have it. Like I said, you can do more of a random pattern. You can try to do it a straight line if you want. I'm particularly not concerned with that, so I'm not doing it that way. But there you go. Now I'm going to let this dry for about an hour or so before I move on. Again, if you want to just keep it this way, you can. Do different colors, you can. Up to you. Okay, now I want to show you what I did to actually finish the glass. I went over it and painted just kind of a free flowing 5-petal flower with white and gold, and then did the petals in gold and white, and then I ran around the top with gold and just kind of just whimsically placed the dots. They don't have to be any particular size, exact, straight. I mean, you can do yours straight. I like to just do them whimsically, whether up and down and kind of all around. Then I put a white dot in the middle of each flower, and then just did some small gold dots in the middle. I normally just use the bottom of my paintbrush when I'm doing dots of this sort. Then I finished around the bottom with just white dots on top of the gold. So if you remember when I originally painted it, it was like this, and now it looks like this. And then my next thing is to allow this to dry for at least an hour, then I'll bake it at 350 degrees, placing the glass in a cold oven, then preheating, adding the preheat time to the bake time, and then allowing the oven to completely cool before removing the painted glass from the oven. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start painting the flowers. Again, this is just a very simple 5-petal flower, nothing special. And again, my painting style is kind of a cross between one stroke and just kind of doing a loose, I don't know how to even explain it, but just no set rhyme. And I know a lot of different flowers, so I don't know if you're someone that actually draws or has any kind of dealings with flowers, or if you like flowers even, but I do, so I kind of tend to decorate my items with flowers. And when you're doing like a color on top of the same color, you can make sure that you add, you know, more of the opposing color or contrasting color into it so you can see it. And I'm just doing just little strokes. And you can go back over and add into it more of the opposing color to be able to see it. I don't necessarily care for my flowers to be precise. This is just a simple 4-petal flower. And if you need more definition into it, let's go back over, add more gold. And I painted 5 of these flowers around the glass that I just showed you. And keep in mind too, you can do this with your own color scheme. Do as few or as many flowers as you wish. Or even pick a different color, more of a contrasting color to do over the gold if you think this is blending in too much. I think this flower is just more of an elegant, or this design on this glass is just more of just a very subtle but elegant pattern. Alright, and then next I chose to do one leaf up and then one leaf down. You can do, again, whatever type of leaf pattern you want to do. These just make such fun gifts to give, through the holidays. Like I said, if you have somebody that, maybe they're not a wine drinker, do beer glasses, martini glasses, margarita glasses, whatever. You can make a nice little gift too by maybe even giving them a bottle of wine to go with the wine glasses. And that would be nice. I know in the area I live in, a lot of people drink wine. It's a big thing right now here. personally am not much of a drinker, so, which is funny that I have a tendency to do things that really I personally don't partake in that much. And for somebody who's painted as many wine glasses as I have, I really just have a mishmash of glassware. I don't have nice sets of glassware. You would think I would. Now the funny thing about this is I kind of start a glass and then our glass pattern, and then as I'm doing it, get into the actual design. I may start it, not even have anything in mind as far as what I'm actually going to design or paint on the glass. It just kind of comes to me as I'm doing them. I guess that's kind of the part about being creative that I like. I like some mystery, and it's okay if you go over top of the flower. I mean, in nature, not everything's going to be perfect, right? I mean, it's basically as perfect as God has made it, but that's okay. And the wind blows it around, grows a certain way, maybe not exactly the way it should have, or it's fuller or less leaves, more leaves. I mean, you don't even have to make it to where it's all the same all the way around. You know, if you choose to do yours where maybe you have 2 leaves on one leaf on another, no leaves on another, I mean, that's fine too. I just decided to do it this way. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put a simple little dot in the middle of each flower. And you can also do contrasting colors on this too. I was thinking about doing silver, doing copper, but then I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick with these 2 basic colors. If you decide you want to do something like this, you know that you can actually make something very pretty with 2 colors. Another thought too on this would be to do your glass where it's painted on one color underneath, and then doing contrasting colors over the top. Hope you can see this, sorry. Trying to make it where you can see what I'm doing. And if you want, you can make the dots closer together. You can go back around with the opposing color and put that now. I'm going to start by doing the top color. I like Libby glass, but I know people tend to like to go to the dollar store and get glasses, which is fine. You know, I'm understanding that those work very well too. I don't necessarily have the experience with them. I just have fallen in love with Libby glass. And when I've painted a ton of, like, thousands of pieces at a time, I actually the companies in Ohio where I'm at, and would have them deliver truckloads of glass to my house. And so that was convenient. I had an account with them. Now I don't do that much painted glass, so I have a store that I can run down the street to and pick up, you know, a dozen or so. Do little projects, make little gifts with them, whatever I need to do. And it's, you know, that's fine. Or, you know, a lot of the grocery stores even sell them, but I know the one store I go to, Old Time Pottery, they sell them pretty cheaply. So it's a, you know, good deal for me if I needed to make an affordable gift, or if I'm gonna even do like these videos with them. It can be very nice to be able to run down the street and not have to pay a fortune for your glassware. Okay, and then the final thing I'm going to do is just add a few little gold specks, and I'm using a tool that you can actually use to clean glass off with if you've made a mistake when you're painting. So I'm using that to put my little dots on with. When you're doing dots, you know, just make sure, I have a tendency to get them very pointy, so you have to keep that in mind. If somebody's holding the glassware and they have pointy dots, those can be very sharp too, so just be cautious. Now where this is at, where the dots are on this one, it's not going to be too much of a factor because they're actually down or up higher than where I have in the past put them, so this just gives it a little bit more interest. If you do any of these, I'd love to see what you paint. Hope you enjoy what I'm painting, or hopefully it gives you some good ideas. And you can see that they're pretty easy to do. And there you have it. Kind of fun. Anyways, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel and let me know if you have any questions. If you paint your own, I'd love to see pictures. Have a good day. Thank you.